welcome to the family here on Purple Mafia. I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Purple Mafia is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps, and I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to this show. It is a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today. The Super Bowl's set. The conference games were pretty close. They were pretty darn close. They pretty much came to the final play of the game. I would say they did in both cases. Well, I ended up being correct about the final matchup, not necessarily correct about the conference finals and everything. I almost got it, but yes, it will be the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks in Super Bowl XLIX. 60 Super Bowls already. Isn't that crazy? So, yeah, man, it wasn't even Super Bowl 20 yet the last time the Vikings made it. So that's how long it's been. It's been forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Still waiting, aren't we, to just get back to the Super Bowl, much less ever win one. Yeah, well, Seahawks and Patriots and Seahawks. Great close games. One was high scoring, one was very low scoring and in a blizzard. Yeah, well, you got that. Minor Viking news so far. Well, it's news to say something. It is news, but obviously it's already been talked about. Figured I might as well get it out here as well. Basically, Mike Pettin retired kind of early, so to speak, from the Minnesota Vikings, and ultimately commented on a show during this past week about what it was like working with Brian Flores and and how Mike Pettin wound up coaching on the offensive side this season. He basically said, I don't really have anything nice to say, so pretty crazy. So let's get this more official here. I apologize. It was what was the name of the show? I had it right in front of me. I apologize for this. The Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, because Mike Pettin used to coach the Cleveland Browns at one point in time. Flores Pettin added, we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things. That's why I spent this past year on offense. I was there in 23 and 24. I'll take the high road on that. So, yeah, on the defensive side. Basically, yeah, I know there was a bit more there, but yeah, it's just he didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things. He didn't really have a lot of good things to say, or something that he would like to really say on the show. So it's like basically didn't really have a whole lot of things to say. So it's unfortunate. A lot of good things to say, and he'll just take the high road. So interesting. So Mike Pettin and Brian Flores apparently not on the same page on things. Interesting. So that's kind of the main Viking news this past week. Not a whole lot of news, but still quite interesting. Okay, yeah, there is one other major news thing that, Brian Flores ended up, signing with the Minnesota Vikings a contract extension to be the Minnesota Vikings defensive coordinator, pending the results of what will happen with Baltimore and or Pittsburgh. Now, Pittsburgh obviously is done. We'll talk about those hirings there before we get into the postseason conversation here. So, former Green Bay Packers and Dallas Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy will be the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. Very un-Pittsburgh-like. Usually they hire somebody pretty early in their career as a head coach so they can stick around there for a good 20 years or something, because what have the Steelers had, like 3 coaches since the late 60s? So it's pretty wild, pretty insane, very un-Steelers-like, to say the least. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely nuts when you can think about that at the end of the day. I mean, you consider a guy that, like in Chuck Noll's case, who started coaching the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1969, which would be like dating back to Super Bowl IV when the Vikings lost to the Kansas City Chiefs, all the way up to 1991 when Dennis Green was hired, after the 91 season, basically, when Dennis Green was hired by the Minnesota Vikings. Bill Cowher was hired by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, Chuck Noll coached all the way up until then. It's absolutely insane when you consider that. Like, That is crazy. Of course, Don Shula was kind of similar with the Miami Dolphins as well. Some of those guys coached well back. I mean, because Don Shula's Miami Dolphins beat the Vikings in the Super Bowl for their second straight championship. But yeah, so Chuck Noll, 69 to 91, Bill Cowher, 92 to 2006, Mike Tomlin, 2007, coming from the Minnesota Vikings defensive coordinator. Just 1 year with Brad Childress in that crappy 2006 season, but Tomlin's defense was pretty freaking good. It was the highlight of the team, outside of Chester Taylor having a really nice year at running back. Mike Tomlin, 2007 to 2025, and then you bring in Mike McCarthy, who is much later in his career. Obviously, he's already coached twice with the Packers for many, many years. Won a Super Bowl there in 2010 against the Steelers of all teams. So just like Aaron Rodgers beating the Steelers in that 2010 season's Super Bowl. Yeah, and then what the hell? So pretty weird. Definitely a change, hiring the younger coaches that stick around for 18 to 20 years or whatever. And now you hire somebody who's much older, who's probably not going to be there that long. In fact, watch, it might even be like a year or two, depending on how things go. Pretty crazy. Seattle's probably going to have their head coach for a while. Sam frickin' Darnold is going to the Super Bowl. He might even win it. And he actually had a great game against the Rams. So quite surprising. So let's go over the coaches a bit really quick. Like according to Yahoo, like their little grades, of course. So Mike McCarthy, Pittsburgh Steelers, they're giving that a C. I kind of agree with that. Probably not the greatest hire ever. And even conversation, who knows, maybe Aaron Rodgers will stick around. That's pretty weird. New York Giants, of course, hired John Harbaugh. We talked about that already, but A+, according to Yahoo Sports. Baltimore Ravens bring in Jesse Minter. Interesting. Yeah, crazy. Mike McDonald was there before. And, yeah, how about them Seahawks, I guess, huh? A- for Jesse Minter coming on board. So, yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. Atlanta Falcons, Kevin Stefanski. I do believe we talked about that recently. Maybe he'll be with Kirk Cousins sticking around there. We'll see how that turns out. Darnold with a big smile on his face right now, the red-headed guy. Man, a few words most of the time, but good for him. I guess I might put this on. He's probably... Okay, I can't hear anything. Never mind. Thought I would put that on you. Nope. They're not with Sam Darnold anymore. Shoot. Oh, well. Yeah, but I mean, because, yeah, like the immediate interview afterward was just kind of like, it's been a great journey, whatever, and all that cute stuff. Kind of a man of few words. Very cliche-laden, like one day at a time and all that stuff. So, yeah, one day at a time. Thanks for the insight there, I guess. But, I mean, you know, he's not as interesting as J.J. McCarthy, but that doesn't mean he doesn't deserve to be in the Super Bowl because, well, he does. Excuse me. So Kevin Stefanski with the Falcons coming from the Browns. They're rating that as an A. Miami Dolphins, Jeff Hafley coming from the Packers, wasn't he? Wasn't he the defensive coordinator? Yep. Grade B. Interesting because the Packers executive was hired to be the general manager there, so not too surprising that they would hire somebody from the Packers coaching staff, and he did. Robert Saleh getting a second chance from the, obviously used to be the 49ers defensive coordinator, got hired by the New York Jets, then became the 49ers defensive coordinator again, now is hired by the Tennessee Titans, who have not fared all too well in the post-Mike Vrabel era, but we'll see how that turns out. They're giving that one a B+. So we still have a number of openings, I suppose. We'll see what happens. At the end of the day, I do believe the Dolphins already hired their coach, so there's a few openings left. I don't know why I'm blanking on him at this second. Of course, the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, see, at the time it hadn't happened yet. Sean McDermott was fired the next day after I recorded the podcast. Buffalo Bills fired Sean McDermott. Some people actually thought he might wind up with the Steelers. Now there's a conversation that he may take the year off. The Arizona Cardinals, Gannon actually now has been hired to be the former head coach. Gannon there, who's a Minnesota native, has now been hired as the Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator. Uh-oh. That's kind of interesting. The Cleveland Browns still have an opening. The Raiders still have an opening. And the Steelers don't. I don't know why it's showing that right now. Steelers, there's Mike McCarthy. Buffalo Bills have an opening right now. Could it be Brable? Could it be, of all people, Phillip Rivers interviewed for the job? Phillip Rivers was interviewed for the Buffalo Bills job. It's like, yeah, he just kind of threw a few footballs for the Indianapolis Colts just like a couple weeks ago here. Now, wouldn't that be something going into becoming a head coach just like that? Be pretty wild. Kind of like when Jason Kidd stopped playing in the NBA, and next thing you know, he's the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, I believe it was, to start things out. It was quite surprising. Didn't work out too well. Or was he the Nets coach first? Now he's been the Mavericks coach for years. But I think it was the Nets, yeah, and that didn't work out at all. But too bad for them. Anyhow, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Harbaugh's excited to be with the Giants. We'll see. I mean, it's historically been a good franchise, but certainly not lately. Yep. So I was correct about the Seahawks and the Patriots. Yeah, go me. I know. Of course, I was wrong about the Bills beating the Broncos. And wasn't there another one? I didn't pick the Niners to beat Seattle. I just wanted them to. And, well, they didn't. And yes, they had the Rams beating the Bears, and I didn't want that either. But, of course, the Rams did beat the Bears. And then Seattle narrowly beats the Rams today. Barely. Thought the Rams could have gotten it, and loved some interesting aspects in that game. But unfortunately, things just kind of went south over the course of time for the Rams, I guess. Because with the way Seattle was behaving, I didn't want them to win, but no, they did. So, yeah, but it's a rematch of that Super Bowl back in 2014 when the Patriots narrowly beat the Seahawks, much to my delight. Great couple of games here, though. Let's go to the AFC first. Or should I do the NFC game first? Yeah, well, the NFC game was way better. Let's go to the AFC game first, even though I am rooting for the Patriots. Yes, I think I've made that pretty obvious. 10-7. 10-7. Pretty low-scoring football game, to say the least. The Broncos, basically, opening drive was pretty much a whole lot of nothing. You got Jarrett Stidham as the quarterback for the Denver Broncos. He ended up doing what he kind of has been doing most of his run as a backup quarterback in the NFL. As many touchdowns as interceptions. 17 of 31. It was a game where the weather started adequately and then just kept deteriorating as the game progressed. The sky kept getting thicker and thicker with white powder blowing very hard, and the field kept getting wider and wider and wider and wider. It was kind of like, okay, it's snowing a little bit. That's nothing too bad. Okay, now it's snowing a little more, and now it's really, really, really snowing, and holy crap, it's a mess. It wasn't the big flakes. It was like a smaller flakes. I can imagine not a very comfortable conditions. It's just been freezing pretty much everywhere. You got the terrible storm in the southern part of the country. Very unique situation at the end of the day when it comes to the, man, it's pretty wild. So, sorry, just looking at something. But yeah, you have a very dramatic situation with like the jet stream going down and creating a spinning effect. Because that's usually what creates the super strong north wind is a spinning effect that kind of gets brought down, kind of like when the polar vortex does that. And that's what's created some of these crazy weather conditions throughout the country here in the U.S. Yeah, it can create a moisture coming from the south, and then it rams into the, pun not intended, rams into the super cold air that's blowing very strongly from the north, and that creates a perfect storm, so to speak. And I guess it's a storm that happens like, it's something to this magnitude hasn't happened in about 40 years, apparently, according to one of the local weathermen. So we'll have to wait and see how that all turns out. Man, it's going to be, it's going to be very interesting. Yes, they're already previewing the Super Bowl on February 8th at, it always starts at 5:30 here in the Twin Cities in the Central Time, like Iowa and such Central Time people here, 6:30 Eastern. Seahawks and Patriots. I got to think the Seahawks are favored, but I do believe the Patriots can absolutely win the football game. I got a feeling Sam Darnold ain't going to duplicate what he did against the Rams. I got a feeling. That Patriots defense is pretty freaking good. Rams defense is pretty freaking good. Seattle defense is pretty freaking good. So, but the good news is Drake May will not have to be combating with a blizzard this time around. So definitely ugly conditions. Drake May has not been spectacular in this postseason, to say the least, but we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. I'm already previewing the Super Bowl. Let's review these conference finals. Again, a 10-7 ugly game. Now, the interception was basically the final throw of his, of the game for Stidham. That was kind of the dagger. And I kept thinking, that's how this game is going to end for the, if the Patriots are going to win this game, they got to get that big turnover. Kind of like the Vikings defense not doing that all damn season. And that's why the Vikings missed the playoffs. Like a play or two here, Vikings would have probably been NFC North champs. Probably, which is funny to think about when you have a quarterback that was so up and down, and mostly down for quite a while until he was up again. Overall, Drake May, not a good day. 10 of 21, but the defense helped him. Did not turn the ball over, though. So go Drake May in that case. I thought he had a fumble but wasn't lost, but he didn't. It was a multiple turnovers for Stidham, though. He had a fumble that ended up being a basically, fumble that gave the Patriots a golden opportunity to get in the end zone. Now, the second drive, basically the Broncos and the Patriots traded drives that were basically, that amounted to a whole lot of nothing to open up the football game, the AFC Championship anyway, here on January 25th, 2026, 2025 seasons, postseason, if you get the idea. Crappy first drives. The Broncos with Stidham kind of marched down the field. Little did we know that would be the only score the Broncos would have the entire game. Not even a single field goal. Both kickers missed field goals in this game because of the crappy weather conditions, the blowing snow and such. You don't imagine Will Lutz blowing a kick. You don't really imagine the Patriots kicker in, he missed two of them in this game. Yep, I remember now. Yeah, he struggled mightily. Borregales, he struggled majorly in this game. Missed multiple kicks from the 40s, and that was disappointing. He did make a 23-yarder, though, chip shot that put the Patriots up 10-7 early in the second half. And who'd have thought that would be the game winner at the end of the day, thanks to the Patriots defense and, of course, Mr. Lutz missing a 46-yarder, just like his counterpart in New England, missing a 46-yarder. Stevenson had some good moments running the ball, but then it got to a point where it's just things got so tight and so predictable. It's like the offense with the Patriots got so frickin' conservative, and basically the offense on both sides got so frickin' conservative where it's like it's a handoff and it's a 2 yards and a cloud of dust or a 2-yard loss or whatever. It was just like watching Tecmo football when you run too much. And then, it's like 8 men in a box, and it's like, it's just like, okay, that was great. It was, if you're lucky, you get 2 yards in that situation where they were all in a box and just ran the guy over. It's like, okay, whatever. That would be mostly Mr. Wherever the hell his name is, Stevenson there in New England. 25 run attempts. Again, that's Tecmo Bowl smash mouth style. Both teams were terrified to throw the football, and well, when Denver finally, Mr. What's-his-name, finally got somewhat like, okay, let's try to do something a little bit out of the ordinary rather than just little quick short passes that wind up in immediate tackles for a 5-yard gain or something, and then it's another fourth down. We got to take a chance here. That would be on Sean Payton's side, and that ended up being the play that ended the game, basically, for the Denver Broncos. Finally attempted a pass of like 20 yards or so plus down the field. It was intercepted by the New England Patriots, and that would be Mr. Gonzalez. Made a great play, kind of read the ball, and got the interception. And that was pretty much it. As the Broncos had a single timeout remaining, the Patriots just basically needed to kneel the ball down. That's pretty much all it got to. As the Patriots couldn't get that first down earlier, that would have ended the game. In this case, well, they didn't have to anymore, as there was just not enough time left. As long as the Patriots were able to, complete the snap to their quarterback, Drake May, everything would be fine. Frustrating, ugly, crappy quality, though. I mean, this was bonkers quality football. It was lousy to watch. It's okay to hand the ball off and all that, especially in these conditions. But it's like when that's basically all you're doing, it was boring as hell. And again, it was so predictable. And you'd see orange jerseys swarming the New England running back, mostly Stevenson. Again, 25 attempts. It was extremely frustrating. So whenever you'd see Drake May with the ball running, it's more exciting because, well, he's a quarterback. And, of course, Henderson also had 3 rushing attempts that were, less than 2 yards a carry, in similar situations where it's like could not move forward. Like, maybe you move like a yard forward. It's just like, here we go, get the punting team again or whatever. But usually when Drake May was running, he'd have more of a chance because there'd be more space for him to possibly maybe get around a guy before he can make a tackle, because Drake May's athleticism is definitely noticeable. In a lot of ways, this felt a lot like a Viking game with J.J. McCarthy. It really did. The good defense by the Minnesota Vikings with Brian Flores, and then you had J.J. McCarthy, who's capable of, scampering a little bit. But Drake May clearly much more mature, despite being from the same draft. Drake May more mature, especially on one of those big plays where he made that 28-yard long, which put the Patriots in position to possibly win the football game. 28-yard gain where he ran out of bounds rather than trying to lower his shoulder and smash into a defender and then get flagged for taunting and lose 15 yards. One of the stupidest things you ever saw. Drake May didn't do that. He just ran right out of bounds. A huge gain for the New England Patriots. Not only a first down, but a lot more and all of that. So, because obviously he's the quarterback and is going to possibly throw the ball when he's in that situation. But then when he has a chance to scamper, there's some space between him and the defender. And then you have a shot at getting the first down. Whereas in other cases, the defenders are already swarming on the running back, and there's not a whole lot you can do. The ball carrier, the running back, you get the idea. Not a whole lot of bleep you can do in that situation. But very much felt like a very conservative style on both sides of the ball, where it was like J.J. McCarthy versus, dare I say, the other guy. Of course, the other guy got more yards than the J.J. McCarthy of the New England. You could say Stidham was kind of like Max Brosmer. Kind of, sort of, but there's probably a little more skill there. Stidham actually looks like a legitimate backup in this league, but indeed a backup, a number 2. Bo Nix stayed healthy all year, and all the credit in the world to Bo Nix, and sorry that he wasn't healthy for his sake. Broncos might have won this game, maybe, if Bo Nix was healthy. The Patriots defense was pretty damn good, but there's a real possibility the Broncos might have won this football game, which is kind of scary and disappointing. But friggin' Buffalo should have won the game anyway. A few calls that it's like, I didn't even talk about those calls too much on the last episode, but a few situations, a few calls that completely went against the Buffalo Bills that felt like maybe they weren't all too fair down the stretch. And man, just heartbreaking to see that. It's like, yeah, the Broncos squeezed past the Buffalo Bills, literally just squeaked past them. And, their quarterback broke his ankle in the second last play of the game anyway. So, I don't know. The weather conditions did not help the Patriots' chances to, create some separation between themselves and the Broncos. I mean, it was a tough one. Tough to watch. Patriots would have opportunities and then continue to not get a whole lot going when those opportunities did indeed arise, like getting into field goal range and such. The play that ended up getting a field goal was damn close. Obviously, right after that 28-yard gain, there was a 4th and 1, and a very close call. Mr. Sean Payton tried to. This was right after the Patriots again blew an early timeout in the second half, which had me scratching my head. Like, really, Mike? Mike Vrabel? Are you kidding me? You're going to call a timeout here? Why? And it was right before that 4th down play where there were 2 defensive players lined up behind Drake May that ultimately reeked of a tush-push situation because, well, you're trying to get like a half a yard basically. So it's like you got to, it's going to be a Denver defense that's been spectacular all day, particularly up the middle. Like they're just swarming the ball carrier in this case, which would be Drake May. It was just crazy. See, New England calls a timeout, and it's like, what the hell? Next thing you know, the Patriots end up executing the play. The play is eventually called a first down. And it was basically like by millimeters whether it was a first down or not. Mr. Payton throws the red flag. The call does stand. It is a first down for New England. So Mike Vrabel doesn't look as bad now with Sean Payton also losing a timeout. So that was kind of an interesting situation going through the rest of the second half with 2 timeouts per coach less than halfway through the third quarter. So very interesting in that situation. The kick would go through on a 23-yard chip shot because the Patriots could not get in the damn end zone. And there it is. Obviously, Drake May did score after the scoop, after the fumble recovery much earlier to tie the game up after the Patriots, went down 7-0 on Stidham's drive. That got the Broncos in the end zone. Luckily for the Patriots, their defense showed up to play the rest of the way. And outside of a Will Lutz missed kick, Broncos would not have any more chances to score. Well, Will Lutz did miss twice. Excuse me. He did. A couple of golden opportunities for Will Lutz, and both kickers struggled mightily in the horrible weather. So can't really blame the kickers for sucking in this one. It was the weather. Both teams were terrified to throw the ball in this game because of that. And when Mr. Payton, Sean Payton of the Denver Broncos, had Stidham try to look downfield and make a play, the pass was intercepted, as mentioned earlier, and that was all she wrote. The New England Patriots are AFC champions in one of the ugliest, most boring games of all time. Ugly, boring, predictable. Oh, it was terrible. It was kind of like, again, like a Vikings game earlier this season. like maybe against like Cleveland or something. It was ugly. Or one of the divisional games, like the Bears game where McCarthy was awful. Ended up really costing the the Vikings' chances of making the playoffs. And you had obviously crappy quarterback ratings on both sides of the ball. And yeah, it felt like McCarthy versus whoever, like another McCarthy basically, or just sit him as a backup. And that's kind of what happened, because McCarthy probably has more potential than Jared Stidham. Drake May again, 10 of 21. Like one of McCarthy's yucky games, minus the interception at the very least. The defense definitely saved the day. And the New England Patriots will go to their 12th Super Bowl in the Robert Kraft era. Was Robert Kraft the coach in 90, or the owner in 96 when they got beat by the Packers pretty good? And then, of course, they got killed by the 85 Bears. Just an absolute butt-kicking. What is it, like 50-7 or something crazy? That Bears team was ridiculous. They really were. Like they beat the Rams in the NFC Championship game that year in a 24-0 shutout. Seattle certainly didn't do that today. The Rams had all the opportunity in the world to win this game, but Cooper Kupp, unfortunately, ultimately was victorious over his former club, ironically, after it looked like his career was getting close to over with. The Rams basically like, okay, I guess we're going to let you go. Winds up going to a division rival, and, he's in the Super Bowl, and they're not, basically. Pretty crazy. Well-played football game here on the NFC side. Stafford looking like a league MVP oftentimes in this one. 22 of 35 for 374 yards. Quarterback rating of 127.6 with 3 touchdowns thrown, and he was only sacked once in the game. Rams had opportunity after opportunity in this one, but a fumbled kick return on the Rams side certainly did not help in this game at all. Devastating fumble loss, unfortunately, on one of the punt returns. That was devastating, to say the least, for the Rams, and it gave Seattle a huge opportunity to do something in this game. Puka Nacua was spectacular, 9 catches, 165 yards, and a touchdown. Devontae Adams also had a touchdown in this one. Former Green Bay Packer and Oaktown Raider. That was a weird one. That was weird when he wound up there. There was a time Devontae Adams was considered the best receiver in football. 4 catches, 89 yards, a touchdown, and of course Williams, the running back, also had a catch and go into the end zone. Good for him. Stafford had a fumble but did not lose the fumble, just had a fumble that was recovered, I believe, by himself. Good for him. At the end of the day, it was kind of a funky situation there. On the Seattle side with Sam Darnold, well, I mean, boy, where was this Sam Darnold last year? There's no doubt he would have been re-signed by the Vikings. Almost certainly. Put it this way, if Sam Darnold played this way against the Rams last year and maybe advanced to the frickin' Super Bowl or something at some point. See, unfortunately, the Rams game was the first game of the season, or the first game of the playoffs, so it wouldn't have guaranteed anything after that. I'm trying to remember who did the Vikings even end up playing the next round if we got past the Rams. I'm thinking we would have played the Eagles, I'm guessing. And Vikings and Eagles in Philadelphia usually is not a good thing, but who knows? Where was this last year against the Rams, Sam? He did have a 4-interception game this year as well against the LA Rams, and that was kind of like, see, they have his number. Not today. Both quarterbacks played absolutely spectacular in this game. See, it's not like one guy one up to the other. They both threw for well over 300 yards. They both had a quarterback rating almost identical, 127.8 in Darnold's case. They both had 3 touchdown passes, but the Rams defense was able to get to Darnold a bit more, 3 official sacks, because Darnold takes longer to get rid of the ball. That was one of the biggest complaints about Sam Darnold last year with the Minnesota Vikings. As good as Sam Darnold was with the Vikings last year, you can tell watching him that he learned something, last year. As good as he was for the Vikings, he wasn't good when it mattered most, but this time he was. It also does help that he was at home, because in when the Vikings got blown out by the Detroit Lions and LA Rams last year in the final 2 games of the season for the Vikings, they were on the road, so that did not help at all. Seattle's obviously got their 12th man thing. I hate it. I think it's obnoxious and BS, but it is what it is. I mean, good for you. You have your cute little 12th man. We're happy for you and all of that cute stuff, but it is what it is, Darnold 25 of 36 for 346 and 3 touchdowns, like I may have said. Walker was solid out there. Chardonnay, I almost called him Chardonnay. Was it? Yeah, it's basically like that. The other running back for Seattle had an ACL last week and is out for the season, of course. An ACL in the playoffs, you're not going to be playing anymore. Kenneth Walker III, 19 rushes for 62 yards. Nothing spectacular. The Ram defense is great. Darnold also fumbled but did not lose the fumble. So, congratulations to both quarterbacks being able to recover their own fumbles in those situations. Smith, Jigba, with 10 catches, 153 yards. He was ridiculous. Him and Darnold hooked up on 12 targets, 1 touchdown, 10 completions. Cooper Kupp had some huge plays as well, including a touchdown that ended up being a dagger on the Rams side of the ball, unfortunately for them. It's not like Kupp was dominant, but he had that big dagger of a catch. Some daggering first downs as well. 3 first downs and just 4 catches, and one of them was a touchdown. 36 yards only, but still a big, huge ass touchdown that really helped the Seattle Seahawks advance to their 4th Super Bowl. We'll see if they lose their 3rd. We'll see what happens. But I hate to say this, they have to be the favorites, right? And I don't want to say that because I don't want Seattle to win the Super Bowl. I don't want Seattle to win the Super Bowl. Sam, I love you, man, but I don't want you to win the Super Bowl. And if they do, I guess it is what it is. This team isn't as hateable as the last Seattle team. I mean, 13-14. Oh God, that frickin' Richard Sherman had the biggest mouth in the history of the world. Now, Woolen, has a big mouth as well, apparently, but not really. Like him and Richard Sherman, I don't despise the Seattle team like I despised Richard Sherman's team. All those arrogant sons of biscuits like Michael Bennett and all them. Oh God, even Russell Wilson, he just bugged me. Oh, he's annoying. God. What was his name? Marshawn Lynch. He got on my nerves just because he was good, I guess. I don't know. I mean, and that whole silly, I'm here so I won't get fined. I'm here so I won't get fined. I can't believe that's like over a decade ago. Man, I feel old. And I was here podcasting those games. I was here podcasting that Super Bowl, covering it, talking about it here on Purple Mafia. 11 years ago? Are you kidding me? 11 frickin' years ago. Get my cane. Yeah, get my cane is right. 11 years ago? Good Lord, yeah. Richard Sherman, he's long gone. Russell Wilson, he did play this year, didn't he? Yeah, but he's toast. He was pretty young back then. He was very young. Richard Sherman was pretty young too, but I mean, the Achilles tear and stuff, that's not going to help your career. And Wilson kind of hung on, even though he was way past his prime in the last couple of years. Even his last 2 years or so with Seattle, he was pretty crappy. Russell Wilson, not even close to that ridiculously good second-round pick that he ended up being. Obviously, Richard Sherman dropped in that draft as well because, well, he's kind of an ass. He's kind of an ass and a troublemaker. That's why he dropped in the draft. So go ahead and call people ignorant. Like, whatever, dude. Oh, you're ignorant. They'll pay for their ignorance. Yeah, screw you. Richard Sherman was annoying, He was annoying. He had a chip on his shoulder. And, I don't know. People with chips on their shoulders are not good people usually. It's just, we're happy for you, You don't have to be such a angry person, It's tiring, actually. But anyhow, maybe I have a chip on my shoulder. Woolen, after making a big defensive play on a 4th and 12, or that that would have put the Rams on 4th and 12, or it would have put the Rams at 4th and 12, was running his big mouth to the Rams sideline, like kind of yapping away. And what happened? First down, LA. And that's what I was like, oh man, wow, that was amazing. And what happened on the next play? What do you think happened on the next play, huh? Matthew Stafford, ready, blue 82, whatever the hell they say, huts the ball, zings it up in the air for just an epic play. Awesome. And it was like, Seattle got what they deserved there. That was awesome. That deserved a lot of, like, that play had guts, and I liked it, where it's just like, bleep you. You want to talk bleep to us, and you just handed over a first down to us, you little punk. Okay. You ask yourself, do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? And that's pretty much what happened. Matthew Stafford did have a bullet in the chamber and zinged it to Puka Nacua which of course rolls right off your tongue for a 34-yard touchdown. That was awesome. That was awesome. It was a 3rd and 12 play, and again, and it was Puka Nacua again. See, that was on Puka Nacua. Woolen was guarding Puka Nacua. He knocked the ball away. Mr. Woolen started talking all this stuff, and then and then what happened on the next play? Matthew Stafford's like, okay, let's see what you can do here. Yeah, let's show this SOB. Thanks for giving us the ball back, by the way. We appreciate it. We're going to give it right back into your face. And what happened? Yeah, Puka Nacua on Woolen, touchdown. And it's like, and of course, Seattle fans were booing their heads off. And it's like, yeah, keep booing. Keep booing. That guy's the one that cost you. You should be booing him. So it's like, go Rams, basically. It went from a point of like, I don't really like either one of these teams. As long as they lose to the Patriots in the Super Bowl, I'm happy. Oh, and by the way, I'm very much saying that right now. And I would have said it anyway, even if the Rams won this game. I mean, like, yes, thank you. That was fun, and all that. Thank you for the fun game. But go Patriots. Yeah, and I'm still saying that either way. But that was cool. I like that kind of stuff when the other team is like, all right, you punk, you want to show us up? We're gonna put it right back in your face. And that's exactly what happened. Unfortunately, the Rams would never score again. Seahawks wouldn't score again either because the Rams defense did a great job. But the Rams would never score again. Not a single point in the fourth quarter by either team. Both defenses showed up to play in that fourth quarter. And the Seattle Seahawks are AFC champions for the 4th time. The Rams franchise has 2 Super Bowl championships. And they've been to how many Super Bowls? Did they go to the Super Bowl way back in the day? I think they did. To lose, though. They didn't win the Super Bowl until the St. Louis Rams in 99. And then, of course, they went back to the, they won the championship in 99. In 2001, they lost to the second-year guy of the New England Patriots called Tom Brady. And then, yes, many years later, they got accused of stealing plays and stuff. Yeah, I know. They're just the devils of football. I know. Whatever. It was still an amazing story to see this second-year guy come up and this franchise that had never won anything. They'd been to a couple Super Bowls and got their butts handed to them by kind of dynasty-level teams at the time. Of course, both of those teams only won a single championship, but it was a dynasty-level team that unfortunately never became a dynasty. In both cases, the 96 Packers and the 85 Bears, very good teams in the NFC North, which was the NFC Central back then, but you get the idea. Teams that were very dominant for a few years, but only got one championship. I said that like 6 times now, I'm sorry. But then all of a sudden, the second-year guy, after they had their number 1 overall pick, Drew Bledsoe, for all those years, still very high-end player, but ultimately ultimately ends up winning the whole enchilada, beating the St. Louis Rams, who were clearly the favorites to win it all. Whereas maybe this time around, it could be a similar situation. Patriots obviously are an established franchise now. They weren't back then. 6 Super Bowls championships later, 11 appearances and all that cute stuff in the Kraft era. Second-year guy, doesn't look all that dominant. At times does, but during this playoff run, he hasn't looked at all that dominant. And Brady wasn't all that dominant in his second year in the league when they went on that magical playoff run, but he still won the games. And I got a feeling that maybe, just maybe, similar thing may happen here. Both defensive-minded coaches, and Bill Belichick and Mike Vrabel, and second-year guys who are probably going to go on to have Hall of Fame career. Careers. Obviously, Brady's an easy choice to be a Hall of Famer, and I do believe Drake May end up going having a Hall of Fame career as well. Seattle is going to be favored in this upcoming Super Bowl 60, and I think the Patriots are going to pull it off. I think it's going to be a close back-and-forth type of game, but I got a feeling Drake May is going to emerge as that next guy in this league. I think he's going to be the next guy behind Patrick Mahomes here to win multiple Super Bowls for the New England Patriots. I think the Patriots are going to add more Super Bowl championships to their trophy case, and they will be the best franchise of all time, passing the Steelers. As they went from a team that had, before the I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. My mind's just stopping. But the Patriots were a team that went from nothing to 3 Super Bowls and then 6. The Steelers were a team that already had 4 championships dating back into the 1970s and very beginning of the 1980s. I believe they beat Philadelphia in 1980 for their 4th Super Bowl during that era, their dynasty era, and that the Patriots kind of came out of nowhere in the Brady era, and look what they did. So, and then Brady wins the 7th one with the Bucs, which is a freaking awesome story. No matter how you look at it, it's a great story with what took place there. And again, I think it's a similar situation where it's a really, really good team in Seattle's case, but I think the Patriots overcome it, hopefully without stealing plays or anything crazy like that, or deflating footballs or anything like that, and that the New England Patriots can come out and win it. It's going to be an awesome game. I got to think it's going to be close and tight. It's going to be similar to this LA game. I don't think it's going to be super duper low scoring like the other one. I think Drake May will be able to complete more passes in the game. Drake May will be able to complete more passes. There will be more of a passing game, but I'm sure again both teams will probably come out conservative in this one. I wouldn't be surprised, more running than passing, or maybe an equal amount, which would still be considered fairly conservative because in this day and age, teams tend to pass. Stidham completed that big pass early in that first quarter, which would be the Broncos' second drive of the game, and ended up scoring their only touchdown after that big play. And that play to Sutton. Yep. So that's when you thought, man, the Broncos are going to win, aren't they? They're gonna win. Frick, I don't want the Broncos to win. That'd be lame. And the odds are that Seattle would beat them in the Super Bowl if they did. So that's one of the things I was afraid of. But ultimately, at the end of the day, wasn't meant to be for the Broncos. Yeah, that was Mims Jr. with a 52-yard catch and score, and then Cortland Sutton was able to score the touchdown for the Broncos. But anyhow, Patriots defense, I think, will not allow Sam Darnold to have the kind of game he did today. Would I be happy for Sam Darnold if he won the Super Bowl? Of course. But cheering for him? Hell no. No, because I don't want the Seahawks to win. I'm sorry, I just don't. God bless them. I just don't want the Seahawks to win. That's all. Is it against the law? Is it okay to want the Patriots to win this game? It's not the same team. It's not Bill Belichick. It's not Brady. We can let go of that. Just like when the people were saying let go of things with the Saints and stuff. No, it's like Breeze and Peyton were still there. I'm not letting go of nothing in that case. But nowadays, yeah, it's over. The Saints thing is all over. We don't have to hate the Saints anymore. It's over. I still hate what happened. I still think it's BS. But he's not there anymore. It's on the Broncos. Whatever. Sorry, something was bugging me there. But it is what it is. So my apologies for kind of being a little bit word salady here. Getting confusing myself a little bit on this one. And this is what kind of throws me for a loop, which is what's been driving me nuts. So Seattle Seahawks coach Mike Macdonald, and then you have Mike McDaniel. It's with the Miami Dolphins. See, that's what's driving me nuts. Mike Macdonald, Mike McDaniel. But, yeah, Mike Macdonald is a outstanding defensive coordinator, defensive coach, and he's done a great job for the Seattle Seahawks. He was only 36 years of age when hired, so he was hired in 2024 to replace Pete Carroll. Mike Macdonald, still 34 years of age. Yep, he's a Massachusetts guy, so he's actually from, Massachusetts, and he's playing against the Patriots. He probably was like 99.999999% chance he's a New England Patriots fan growing up. So that would be kind of tough, wouldn't it? Imagine if the Minnesota Vikings, imagine if I ended up being the coach of the Patriots, or a coach of like an AFC team, Cincinnati Bengals or something. And we go to the Super Bowl and the Vikings are there. The Vikings get to the Super Bowl. That'd be tough. Like, man, I'm coaching against the Vikings in the Super Bowl. The team, I grew up watching and all going through all the heartbreak and all that. That'd be tough. Because, the Patriots, there was a lot of heartbreak for a while and just disappointment, generally speaking. And then all of a sudden they became a dynasty. But, multiple dynasties kind of, sort of. But, Mike Macdonald's overall coaching career and all that, mostly with Baltimore coming in. He came in as a coaching interim in 2024. Before that, he was a defense quality control assistant with Georgia and all that. So, Georgia, wow. But that was way back in 11, 13-ish when they weren't winning national championships necessarily. 15-16 Baltimore Ravens defensive assistant. 2017 defensive backs coach for the Ravens. Linebackers coach in 18 through 20. He became a defensive coordinator for the Michigan Wolverines. Okay. Baltimore Ravens defensive coordinator in 22-23. And still not even 40 years old yet. In Mike McDonald's case, 24 to today, Seahawks have definitely been on the up and up with Mike McDonald as head coach. 24-10 so far, and in the postseason he's got 3 wins now, right? Yeah, no, it is just 2 wins. This is correct. He was the number 1 seed. So the Patriots definitely kind of like the 91 Twins in a way, like the 90 Twins were in last place. Patriots 2025 are 4-13, so kind of a last to first type of thing. We'll see if they end up winning the whole enchilada. Yeah, the Bengals in 2021 season. 2020 they were 4-11 and won, and the next year they went to the Super Bowl. And I love that Bengals team. It's too bad that they lost to the Rams. It sucked. Yeah, this same Rams team with Sean Payton and Matthew Stafford. But McDonald, yes, obviously on the up and up. He's done an amazing job. Just the second year with the Seattle Seahawks. It might be similar to what happened with the Indiana Hoosiers in the NFL, or college football, excuse me. But not quite. Seattle has won a Super Bowl. They've had something. It's not like they were this absolute garbage, whatever they call it. I don't even know. Like under, what the hell do they call it? Like bottom dweller type of thing. Like in the Indiana Hoosiers were basically a bottom dweller just 2 years ago. So amazing job by them going undefeated and winning the whole enchilada. But it might be a semi-similar story where Seattle hadn't been good for a while. Things got very stale under Pete Carroll and all those other guys, things got pretty stale. And then all of a sudden Seattle's able to get Darnold, and they continue to build their defense. And McDonald turns this, Seattle team that was giving up 1 million points basically in the end there, despite Carroll being a defensive coach throughout his career. Turns the Seattle defense into the Legion of Boom all over again. And, we'll see. We'll see what happens at the end of the day. It's been a great story. And Mike Vrabel, first year with the Patriots after having a few great seasons with the Titans, and then things kind of fell apart there. The window closed. Things just kind of died, unfortunately, in Tennessee. Ends up getting an opportunity with New England, and then you have Drake May, obviously, who has a fantastic career. So it's going to be awesome. Darnold is a guy who struggled with the Jets. Got some secondary opportunities with the Panthers, and he became a backup with the Rams and the San Francisco 49ers. Signs of the Vikings has this huge breakout year, starts to really show what he can do with that throwing arm and such. Like, damn, this guy's way better than we thought. But, man, throw the ball sometimes, man. You're killing us. Throw the damn ball, dude. We might actually be better we might actually be even better than we thought. Throw the ball, Sam. Throw the ball. Stop hanging onto the ball and eating it, especially against teams like Detroit and the Los Angeles Rams. It also didn't help that Christian Darrisaw tore his ACL and MCL. That didn't help, but we got extremely lucky with Cam Robinson, though clearly an inferior player to Christian Darrisaw. But really, ever since that ACL situation in Los Angeles, Christian Darrisaw has not been the same guy, and I hope that changes next year. We'll have to wait and see with that. But great story, Sam Darnold again. A guy who was taken 3rd overall by the Jets, ended up being a 3-interception type of guy, just a huge mess with the Jets. Mediocre to just kind of average-ish with the Panthers. That is ups and downs with, the rookie there and such. Since then, obviously, again, had a few moments with the Rams. Yeah, the Niners, again, great breakout season with the Minnesota Vikings. And then absolutely fell apart in the big moments. The regular season Super Bowl against Detroit, and of course the playoff game versus the Rams was a disaster. And okay, we already had McCarthy, we drafted him, and if not for the meniscus, who knows, during some of Darnold's crappy games against like the Jaguars or something, you never know. Maybe you would have saw Mr. J.J. McCarthy go in, but in hindsight, who knows how that would have all turned out. Probably not all so great, and Darnold would have been back in. But, it's all been just kind of a big journey, and Sam Darnold has a chance to win a championship. Drake May, being like the better McCarthy, you could say so far. Definitely the better version. And a 3rd overall pick also, kind of like Darnold. but living up to his hype a lot earlier in his career than Sam Darnold. So it's third overall pick versus third overall pick, one that's become a veteran and finally is getting going. His second legitimate year as a starter in the NFL, like legitimate starting player, starting quarterback in the NFL, Vikings, and now the Seattle Seahawks getting to the Super Bowl. Drake May's second year as a starter as well, going from a rookie to his second year in the league, and he's already got his club in the Super Bowl thanks to a great defense, good coaching, and the fact he's a damn good quarterback as well. Extremely efficient player, and we'll see if Drake May can show up and get the job done and win this thing. Right now, that's where I'm leaning towards, that the New England Patriots end up getting the job done at the end of the day. That Drake May is you're gonna see something much more special out of Drake May in this game than we saw versus, like the Houston Texans and such, which was a freaking awesome defense in Houston, which made for a very conservative bunch of play calls on the Patriots side. But it's a veteran coaching staff that's been around. Obviously, you got the offensive coordinator that was there during the Belichick era with Brady and such, and he's doing a great job with Drake May as well. So for the most part, obviously not head coaching material, but certainly a offensive coordinator with almost Hall of Fame level offensive coordinator, I'd have to say. That would, of course, be Mr. Visor head Josh McDaniels. Of course, there was discipline. You got Mike McDonald and Mike McDaniels, and then you got Josh McDaniels and Ronald McDonald. Ronald McDonald's a good coach too. I believe in you. I believe in magic. I believe in you. Okay, sorry, that cute old McDonald's commercial from the 90s. Have you had your break today? Okay, sorry. When you believe in magic. Sorry. Oh, boy. Well, if anybody's got big red shoes, it would be somebody on the Patriots side. So, and I do believe the Patriots are going to emerge victorious as world champions for the 7th time in their franchise to make them the number one championship team of all time in the NFL. Well, in terms of the Super Bowl anyway, in the Super Bowl era. Yeah, we're not going to see Travis Kelce or Andy Reid. Good riddance to that. Oh, God, thank heavens. Thank heavens. They're showing that stuff from a year ago. Yeah, we'll pass for the last 2 years or so. But where do we go with this? Yes, I do believe that Drake May sparkles when it shines brightest. Sam Darnold, I think, will have a good game as well, though. But I do believe, ultimately, it is going to be the Patriots' day. And it's going to be the beginning of a legend in Drake May. Drake May and the Patriots win this football game by a final score of 27-24 and a very dramatic back-and-forth game that'll have all of our knees knocking. We'll be watching it with bated breath. And, yeah, it's going to be an entertaining football game. I recommend people do not think of the Belichick or era, Don't bring your hate to the game with the whole Belichick thing. He's not their coach. I don't think the Patriots are coming in to cheat in this game. I think it's going to be a back-and-forth, scary game. Yeah, but the Patriots do emerge 27-24. Drake May throws 3 touchdowns. Darnold throws 2. And that Darnold will have an unfortunate interception or turnover at some point in the game that, unfortunately, will be something that, doesn't help the Seahawks' cause. Let's put it that way. Maybe not a devastating turnover, but it's not going to help down the stretch. It'll help the Patriots to get over the hump in a very close game at the end of the day. So, yes, there is that. I thought I had some other stuff going on, but, of course, there's also going to be the Twitter account for some fan interaction if there's really a whole lot left. And if the other thought that I thought I had in my head comes back, we'll get to that. I'm not sure what the hell I'm looking at. It's kind of confusing. Well, one other thing that did happen is there is no Facebook page right now. The Facebook page has been hacked. Yes, my Facebook page has been hacked. Not just Purple Mafia, but because everything is connected. The Purple Mafia Facebook page, Brave the Wild, Timberwolves Explosion, Mysterious Adventures, so on and so forth, are all connected to my Facebook account, which has been hacked. And unfortunately, some stupid son of a gun has been trying to sell, pretending to sell a pretty decent car of some sort, at a price that nobody would imagine you'd be able to get at. Like, oh, $5,000 for a 5-year-old car? Now, for those of you out there that are falling for this and were messaging me about it, like, yeah, I'm interested in the car. Of course it's too good to be true. Are you crazy? First of all, you must think I'm an idiot. Secondly, I don't want to call you any names or anything, but why are you falling for this crap? Obviously, it's a scam. And no, I am not a scammer. I'm not a scammer. I'm the farthest thing from it. I'd like to believe that I'd like to believe that I'm one of the most honest people you're ever going to meet, that I'm not looking to rip anybody off. That is not me. It's frightening beyond belief that this person, if they deserve to be called a human being, was actually messaging with people, having conversations about, the transaction, so to speak, quote unquote transaction. And it scares me, it upsets me, it saddens me. And what also sucks is I can't get in the account. I don't know if I'm ever going to. So we'll see. Just imagine. So I do have a new Facebook account, Joey Widen, with I'm wearing my Viking hat that was in the YouTube videos, and I will be getting back to the YouTube again, especially in the next season, but probably during the course of this off season, I'll have videos and such again. Just haven't had the heart to do it for a while, and how the season kind of went down the toilet and all that. That was disappointing. And that 5-game win streak, when it was basically post-mortem stuff, the Vikings were already out anyway. It's just kind of funny how all that turned out. But, yeah, the account was hacked, and that really totally sucks. And it's embarrassing to have to even mention that. It really sucks. And I hope I get back on there, but if not, it is what it is. I might end up having to create yet another Purple Mafia page. But it would really suck to lose the Brave the Wild page and the Timberwolves Explosion page, because those were there for many years and had a decent amount of followers, just like the first Purple Mafia page that was lost. So we'll have to wait and see. The Instagrams are all still there, so if you do care to interact with Purple Mafia on Instagram, that's still there. So, and Twitter, of course, is still there as well, at Purple Mafia Show on Twitter/X. Instagram is also at Purple Mafia Show. So that's the good news. They're both extremely easy to find. The Instagram helped kind of semi-carry the show and the fan interaction during the course of a couple of years ago. I believe that was the 24 season? I think it was just 2024, wasn't it? Or was it even 2023? I can't remember. It might have been 2023 when it was all basically Instagram, because the Facebook page was ruined. So disappointing and sad. But that's how it goes sometimes. I can't remember if it was last year or 2 years ago when it was just Instagram for the whole season. But, that Facebook page might be dead with my Facebook account, but I'm going to try my best to get it back at some point. Anybody out there that might have a recommendation on how to get back in, because I've been basically put through a loop forever here with this. It's utter nonsense. It should be as simple as texting my phone, because I have my phone. It's my phone that's connected to the account. Why can't I reset everything from my phone with a text coming to my phone? Because the scammer does not have my phone. Why can't I do that? No, we got to have some app that doesn't exist, get some kind of code that doesn't exist. And it's just a dead end, and it's extremely frustrating. So Facebook, middle finger to you. Your politics suck anyway, by the way. Okay, I didn't say that out loud, did I? Well, yeah, I did. Yeah. Facebook, middle finger to you if you're going to pull that crap. But no, I did create a new single account here just where it's just, me for now. If I have to start recreating the podcast Facebook pages, so be it, just for the sake of the podcasts, not because I love Facebook, but to interact with you out there, to get some more fan interaction and such. So, but the Twitter was very kind this year, thanks to Mad Martin, and I appreciate you so much, Dave Martin, Mad Martin, coming out of Northern Scotland. But you also had people like Dave Hickey, Gerald Swing on here. And I know I've had Mark Carlson, Mike Dale on Instagram at times, though I do believe Mike Dale especially prefers Facebook versus Instagram, so he can have his really cool conversations. Usually a lot of you don't seem to interact with me much during these postseason shows, which is unfortunate, but that's how it goes. One comment and that's it. Mad Martin says, can't argue with this. Now, what was I? Yeah, I was saying how it was such an ugly freaking game. I was saying not liking this at all. This is the AFC title game. Not liking this at all. Patriots look nervous, playing from behind already. Not cool. Can't stomach Denver in the Super Bowl and don't like either of the NFC teams. No, I don't. Though, this Seattle team is much, much, much more likable than the original Legion of Doom. Smith Njigba wasn't running his mouth and making a jerk of himself, kind of like the, what was his name? Like Baldwin, I believe was his name, after the Seahawks barely scraped by the Green Bay Packers in that crazy back-and-forth game when they went to their second straight Super Bowl. Just made a jerk of himself. And, of course, Richard Sherman, all them. I don't get that negative, icky, chip-on-our-shoulder vibe type of thing that team had. I don't get that vibe from this team, so I appreciate them a little more. If they win the Super Bowl, I won't be that pissed off. But, man, I'd like to see the Patriots win. I just would. Not a single team in this Final Four was lacking in Super Bowl championships. Seattle at least has one. And, you know, they've been to lots of Super Bowls. Well, this would be their fourth Super Bowl appearance since at least 2005. And Vikings haven't been close to a Super Bowl since 2005 because, well, actually they were. 2009 they were close. 2017, no, they weren't. 2017 Vikings were not close to the Super Bowl. They got blown out. So at least it's more of a likable group. Like, I don't look at this Seahawks team and be like, God, I hate them. I just hated the way they kicked the Vikings' butt and made us look like idiots, that's all. That wasn't too much fun. But, yeah, with that said, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much. Please tell your friends about the show. If you have any tips about how to get my account going, again, that'd be great on Facebook. It'd be nice. I'm stuck right now. I'm literally stuck. And I'm not technically inept. I'm just stuck. I'm not one of those people that can't even, buy something off eBay without someone helping me. No, I mean, and God bless you if that's you. That's not me. I have a pretty good idea what I'm doing, generally speaking. I'm no computer genius, but I know what I'm doing. That kind of thing. I wouldn't be podcasting if I didn't know what I'm doing. Put it that way. Especially not for as long as I have been podcasting. So, with that said, thank you so much for listening to the show. Hope the Patriots can get the job done. That's just how I look at it. If you like Seattle, well, that's okay. That's your choice. God bless Sam Darnold. If he gets a ring, so be it. Makes us look kind of bad here, but it is what it is. We've looked bad before. The other guy in the game that has a connection to Minnesota, which I feel very good for, he's been through a bunch of heartbreak. The 2017 Vikings, that he was the guy who made the catch. The miracle, the Minneapolis Miracle, was Stephon Diggs, who obviously we got our butts kicked in the it would technically be the 2017's NFC Championship game versus the Eagles, who wound up winning the Super Bowl in our house 2 weeks later. Ends up losing in just a one-sided game. The stupid Chiefs beat the Bills. It was disappointing. And then had another crack at it a couple years later, lost to the Chiefs again, I believe it was. Very disappointing for Mr. Stephon Diggs. Three conference championship appearances. Ended up getting his heart broken. Then had the ACL last year was it last year? Yes, with the Houston Texans. Had the ACL. That was really disappointing, like midway through the season. Signs with the Patriots, and now he is going to the Super Bowl, finally. So I'd be very happy to see Stephon Diggs get a ring. Quite emotional indeed. So wrapping things up with that. Thank you so much for listening, though. God bless you, and go Patriots. There will be no show next week unless there's some crazy news or something. But I don't anticipate any crazy news like, the Vikings fired... it would be news like that. It would have to be something along those lines, like Kevin O'Connell got fired or something. That's what kind of news it would have to be, like huge, for there to be a show between now and the Super Bowl show, the Super Bowl review show. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Stephon Diggs, congratulations. Sam Darnold, congratulations, and we'll see what happens. But go Patriots from my end.